here at Brainfuse. And James Wallace, he also is a program manager here. He works with me. He's out today, but he usually does all the training webinars for Brainfuse. And sometimes he'll contact you, and definitely he'll be in touch with probably Amber. But right now, I'm also coordinating with Amber. And this morning, I want to give you an introduction about Brainfuse. And let me start with, in case you're unfamiliar with what Brainfuse is. Okay, I do hear an echo. So I'm going to start muting, and if you need to speak, just let me know. Okay. All right. Amber, I had to mute you as well. Sorry about that. But if you need to speak, let me know. Okay, let me give you a short introduction about the company. So if you're new to Brainfuse, you never heard of Brainfuse, I believe you are using Smart Thinking before. And we started about, in terms of online tutoring, the online aspect of our business, we started about the same time as Smart Thinking in the 1990s, late 1990s. Before that, we were doing in-person tutoring, academic advisory services, work experience evaluations, translations, etc. And as part of in-person tutoring, we would also conduct group test prep services from our office in New York. We are situated in Midtown, New York. We are very close to New York Public Library. In fact, we are right across. I believe we're a block away. And so we've been doing this for a long time. And at first, we started out servicing K through 12, and then we branched out into the libraries and also into higher ed. We found out when we started working with library systems that many of the students who are using the library services were actually college students, and we decided to market directly to higher ed. And if you have any more questions about the company history, let me know. You can email me directly at elise@brainfuse.com. And with these webinars, we're more than happy to do as many as necessary. So even if it's just one person, we'll be more than happy to do the webinar. Amber, I'm going to try unmuting you and see. Okay. All right, so that should be fine. All right, so Amber, you can speak whenever you need to. Everybody else has been muted. The default setting on the GoToWebinar, which is what we're using right now, is mute for the attendees. But if you need to be unmuted, let me know. You can type in the chat, and you should be able to use your mic. Okay, so what you're looking at is our demo site, and this is what we use to do our webinars. Please note that after speaking with Amber, your customized site, which is active but not live right now, is going to look a little different. So for instance, we're going to remove office hours, for instance, and also we're not going to, well, you will see. Amber, do you want to keep the test center or just remove anything to do with test prep? Amber, did you hear me? I just asked whether you want to keep the test center. Is everybody else able to hear me? Sometimes GoToWebinar can have audio issues. Okay, so Ann is able to hear me. Amber, are you still there? Okay, so I'm going to assume that everybody else can hear me. David, I see that. Wes is, yeah. Okay, Wes can hear me, Ann can hear me, David can hear me. All right, so I'm going to assume that everybody else can hear me. I'm going to move on. All right, so on your site that's customized for you, you're going to see the Greenville Technical College logo here. And you're not going to see the GRE, AccuPlace, or Encompass. We can always restore them. One of the great things, one of the distinguishing characteristics about Brainfuse, one of the ways that we distinguish ourselves from the competition is the fact that we're very, very flexible in terms of what features you like to use. So you can see how we have different tabs for different functions. And there are some clients who just want live health and writing labs. If that's the case, then we just remove all the other features. In your case, right now, you don't have interest in these other services, so we're going to remove them. Yeah.
We're going to keep the Compass Prep, but the Acupressure and GRE are things that we really don't use here at Greenville Tech.
Okay.
But the Compass Prep, let's leave that for now.
Okay, Compass, let me make a quick note of that. That's right. And for today's webinar, so because you will not be using it, I'm not going to be going into in-depth about GRE or Acupressure. I will go into Compass. This is Collaborate, and I'll go into Meet and Brainwave later. But let me give you a quick overview of the Brainfuse platform. So this is the student homepage. After student logs in, they see this page. And let me, in fact, log in. Now, for your students, it's my understanding that you'll be getting integrated with, the Brainfuse link is going to be integrated with Blackboard, which means that students will not have to put in a separate username and password as I'm doing now. But I do know that, Amber, you also showed interest in having a separate account for prospective students who may benefit from the Compass prep materials that we have. So for that, we would have to create a separate account. So let me know if I still need to remind Sam, our tech person, CTO, whether or not he needs to create that link for you as well.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, you don't have to decide now. You have plenty of time. And nothing is fixed in stone. So if you, even during the semester, fall semester, or even the short summer semester, you decide you want to change and not have certain features or bring back certain features, that's fine. Just let us know. Okay. So once the student logs in, or they log in through Blackboard, they see this home page. There are these big buttons at the bottom, and then there are these smaller links at the top. And the way I like to describe these smaller links, or the buttons at the top, is these are more of a personalized features, and they link up with the big buttons at the bottom. And one of the ways that students can use Brainfuse, and one of the ways even faculty can use Brainfuse, is the fact that you can get instant help, but you can also use it for test prep, such as Compass. It's more personalized, comparable to test prep services such as Kaplan, Princeton Review, but your students don't have to pay anything. And then we also have features for students who like to work alone, or they may not necessarily want to connect with a live tutor, whether it's because they don't have the time or they just don't want to. And then we also have features here for faculty who may want to use our platform to hold online group sessions or even one-to-one tutoring session with their students. So there are different ways to use Brainfuse. And I think the best way to summarize the different aspects of our program is this chart here, diagram. So at the top is the live tutoring, and this is the main service that we do. But there are also these other services that are integrated, with live tutoring, such as targeted skills building, learner-driven collaborative tools, and also if you choose to, you have the flexibility to allow faculty or administrators to manage student tutoring if you ever decide that you like to have a kind of a hybrid program where you allow your instructors to have tutoring sessions with your students and schedule themselves in, etc. And there's the intensive writing lab, which is integrated also with live tutoring. You get personalized study plans with the Compass test or any test prep center that comes with Brainfuse. And the test centers themselves are customizable. So for instance, when I was asking Amber whether she wants to keep this test center without any test name on it, this is a generic test center. And you can find in it your standard tests in reading, writing, math, and science. But if you're an instructor, let's say, and you have tests that you like your students to have access through this test center, we can put it in here for you if you give us the test. So it's a customizable test center, so that you're not just stuck with whatever tests that we have. And the best part is it's an integrated test prep. So, for instance, when I mentioned just before about how our Compass or any of our test centers are comparable to Kaplan, well, Kaplan and Princeton Review, they're very, very expensive. So even for just using the online content, it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And for live tutoring, it's a lot more money. With us, your students can have access to Compass tutors every day. There's no limitation or restriction. They also have access to tests, etc. And they get after taking a test, they get a study plan, and they log in with a live tutor who would have access to that study plan and the test taken by the student. So it's very much a personalized test prep session, even though it's offered free through the college, and very comparable to Kaplan or Princeton Review in that regard. Okay, so I'm going to be going over each of the features now, and if you have any questions, let me know. And really, for the most part, almost all of our features are very easy to use. The only feature where it would require a student to look at their guide booklet or to watch a webinar would be Meet feature, because the Meet whiteboard has audio and other unique features that are unique to Meet. So I'm going to be demonstrating the Meet whiteboard toward the end of the webinar. But let me go straight into live help. So let's say you're a student and you need to get help in math. So you click on live help, and you select the subject, and you click and get live help. You can also do pre-scheduling if you want, but we find that most of the time students want help right away. They don't want to be waiting even for a day to get a tutor. But the option to pre-schedule, because the beauty of pre-scheduling is you do get to choose the tutor that you want, because you do see the list of tutors. However, there's no guarantee that your favorite tutor will be available at the time that you're requesting. So most of the time students log in through Instant Help, and then they can ask the tutor that they connect with whether or not their favorite tutor is on. And if that other tutor is on, and the other tutor doesn't have, your favorite tutor is not tutoring at the moment, then our live monitors, all of our sessions are monitored live, can transfer the student to their favorite tutor. But the pre-scheduling option is available. Now, if you ever decide, Amber, and other administrators who may be here today, if you ever decide that you want to have a hybrid program, and I think I mentioned it to Amber at one point, if your student goes in here and let's say they have access to both our tutors and the college institution's tutors, how would the routing work? The way it works is, let's say we have a Brainfuse tutor who does statistics, and there's also a faculty tutor who's available and on right now who can do statistics. The routing works in such a way, we have a smart routing system where the student would be first routed to the institution's tutor. And as a backup, our tutor is available. So if nobody from the institution is on, then automatically the student gets a Brainfuse tutor. Okay, so that's live help. And you get the list of subjects here, and you choose, and you get live help, and the whiteboard opens up. This is the Skill Surfer, and it's a resource area. And what's interesting about it is there are lots of resources here, and with videos. And these are not just internet links, but these are actual, almost all of them are Brainfuse created content. And you can find lessons and videos, etc. During a live tutoring session, the student can incorporate the lessons that they find here into their sessions and ask our tutors about it. And as you can see, there are many, many resources that are available, including these occupational tests that are coming to you for free. So they're the tests and the resources that are available. So some of the career preparation, as the name implies, is job-oriented. This is more college skills and college preparation, even graduate school. And these are also customizable, these tabs. So if you really don't want to, I think Amber already told me that she doesn't want GED, so I'll be removing the GED. But if there are any other features here that you're not interested in, then let us know. We'd be more than happy to get rid of them. All right, so that's a skill surfer. So that's the targeted skills building that you saw in the chart here. It's a little bit small, so I don't know if you can see it, but targeted skills building. So that would be skill surfer, which is integrated with live help. And then any kind of live session that you do using the Brainfuse platform is saved and stored in past sessions. I mentioned before about how each of these smaller buttons here on top is actually linked up with, integrated with the big buttons here at the bottom. And past sessions is a complete archive of every session, every live session that a student does with using the Brainfuse whiteboard. And from the past sessions, you can view the entire whiteboard session, just look at the transcript. You can also email, click here, and email the whiteboard session to other people. And they don't have to be Brainfuse members. So as I like to jokingly say, if a student has doubts about something that our tutor said, and they want to run it by their professor, then they can email the entire whiteboard session to their professor and have them check it out. All right, this is a writing lab, the intensive writing lab, and the way to use it is very simple. You just browse, upload the files. So these are the different types of files: JPEG, PowerPoint, Excel. And you will put in any special comments here and submit it. And usually the turnaround time is 24 hours. There may be a slight delay during holidays, but the turnaround time that we shoot for is always 24 hours. This is a 24/7 center, and it works exactly the same way as the writing lab. The only difference is 24/7, you submit non-writing questions. And whatever you send to us, get back from us, is found in the Message Center. And I also want to show you how the Message Center, the very same Message Center, is found on the whiteboard. So the students can actually access the Message Center on the whiteboard so that they can review the same paper on the whiteboard with a live tutor. So the Message Center button that's found on the home page is also found on the whiteboard, which I will show you a little bit later. And so whatever papers, whatever science, accounting questions that they may have sent recently, they're going to find it on the whiteboard as well and be able to share it with the tutor and go over it. Language Lab is for Spanish. The original intention was to have more languages available, but right now, if you want to get Spanish tutoring, this is the place to go. ALC will be of interest to those students who want resume help. So if you have a student, they're applying for a part-time job, or even a full-time job, and they want to get their resumes reviewed, they can go here and get a resume coach to review their paper, review their resume. And then whether it's a resume, if it's or a class paper, whatever you send to us is saved and stored in the Message Center. Okay. Again, I'm not going to go into office hours in detail, but as I explained to Amber previously, it's really for institutions who want to have a full-fledged kind of program, online tutoring program for their faculty, so that faculty can schedule themselves in, etc. But if you don't plan on having an institution-wide program like that, but you just want to have the faculty to have the ability to use the whiteboard, to use our audio-enabled whiteboard to meet with their students, the easiest way would be just using Meet, which I'll go into in more detail later. All right, LEAP is more of a foundational skills test prep. The difference between LEAP and Skill Surfer is with LEAP, these are tests that are specifically chosen and developed by our Brainfuse team for foundational college readiness skills. And after you take our test, you actually get a fully developed study plan like this one. Not just a list of lessons that you need to work on, which is usually what you get after taking one of our tests. But this is more developed in the sense it's much more detailed. You also get a pie chart, so every time you finish one of these lessons or videos, so let's say, So after clicking on one of these video lessons, and there are video lessons, there are also HTML lessons, slides, etc., mini quizzes. After you click on it, you see how there's the option, either you can play it, view it first, or you can just click on Live Help from here. Or maybe you're in the middle of watching the video, you still don't understand, and you click here and get Live Help. And of course, the great part is our tutors will be able to see that the student was watching this video, and our tutors have access to the very same video so they can see what you're watching. But let's say that I watched it, I understand it, I don't need a tutor, then I just click on I'm done. And every time I click on I'm done, the pie chart, the color changes. You can also view the test questions directly from here and view the questions, and you can copy-paste the entire question as an image onto the whiteboard and go over it together with the tutor. All right, so LEAP is more geared towards foundational skills. But let's say that you like the idea of having a pie chart and having all these, the ability to have students access a very detailed study plan like this. But let's say you want to be using your tests. You already have tests that you're using, and you would like your students to take it online through Brainfuse and go through a detailed study plan like this. That's fine. Just give us the test, and we'll be more than happy to release them through our system. So LEAP is another test center that's customizable. So I mentioned before how this test center is customizable. This is also customizable. Tutor match here is exactly the same as the tutor match that you find here. So it's a way to pre-schedule a session with your favorite tutor. All right, so at this point, let me just log in with myself as the tutor so you can see the whiteboard.
And at least while you
sorry.
And while you're logging in, just to kind of clarify, in these systems like SkillSurfer or the LEAP program, the only time that the institution will incur any charges is if the student actually clicks to connect with the live tutor. Correct?
That's right. That's correct. Yeah. And also, you are charged for the Writing Lab submission and 24/7 center submission, because our tutors, even though they may not be tutoring live, our tutors are getting used. So
correct.
Any content here, any content, your SkillSurfer, LEAP. So if you're just using our tests, like Compass Practice Test, for instance, you're not going to get charged.
Okay.
Yes, everything is free. And by the way, that also includes Meet. All right. Let me open up our tutor whiteboard. By the way, the institution tutors never have to download anything. You just have a tutor homepage, and you just log in. It's very easy to use. But again, there's a separate setup for that. And unless the institution is gung-ho on it running their own tutoring program online, I highly recommend just using Meet. Okay, then I'm just going to log in quickly as a demo tutor. All right, so I'm going to enter my session here, waiting for students. Instead of logging in here through here, I want to emphasize, accentuate what I meant when I said our test centers are integrated with our test prep. So let's say I'm one of the students who need college preparation skills, college remediation, and I'm going through my study plan, and I really still don't understand. Even though I checked it off, I still don't understand order of operations. So I can open up one of these lessons, and we deliberately made them short. Anyway, but let me click on, so I can get a live help right through here, and you see how the whiteboard opens up. Okay, so this is the student whiteboard. Very easy to use. All right, so you see how as a tutor, because I also have the tutor whiteboard open, I get this pop-up telling me this student getting help step 7 requested to work on order of operations. Okay, great. So at this point, you see how the very same lesson that the student was watching or looking at, has automatically been uploaded onto the tutor whiteboard. The tutor can automatically see what they're working on. That said, we always tell our tutors that you got to verify with the student that this is what they want to work on. And if the student says, yeah, this is what I want to work on, then the tutor proceeds to go over the lesson together and go through guided practice questions, see if there's any classwork questions that they can go over together. And of course, the best part is whatever they do with our tutors is saved and stored in past sessions, and the student can always replay it later. All right, let me quickly just go over the whiteboard features. And as I mentioned before, they're very easy to use. I do understand that our tech development is working on enhancing the whiteboard and making it even more user-friendly. And I'll keep you posted, Amber, but I know that recently they released the iPad version of the whiteboard as well as the iPhone.
Okay.
So there is an application right now existing, but it's not where you can do live tutoring. But I know that very recently, I think it was just last week, late last week, when they released the iPad version of the whiteboard. So I'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
All right. So this is the whiteboard for the student. And you can, most of the time, just by looking at the pictures, you can see what it does. This is for printing. It prints what's on the whiteboard and the chat. This is the file sharing, the message center on the whiteboard that I was talking about. So this button here is actually linked up with the message center that's found here. Right now there isn't anything because I haven't submitted anything to myself. But you see when you open it up, so Elise 1 through 7 is me, the tutor. And I can, as a student getting Help 7, I can send documents directly to my tutor, browse and upload. And then whatever I send will be found in the outbox here. And you see how it looks very much like it is the message history that you're looking at here. It's the same thing. I think there's a new question. Let me see who has a question here. Okay, so Anne West has a question. I know if you're using Firefox, is that the best browser for Brainfuse, or do others do equally well? Others are fine. I just happen to use Firefox. At the office, I also use Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, and Mac people, obviously, they use Safari. So there isn't really a best browser, and it's really up to you as to which one you like to use. All right, let me move on to the whiteboard. And this is envelope icon right here. You can email the whiteboard session to other people during the session. And of course, after the session, if you want to, after the session, let's say you want to email the session to other people, then you just click here. And this is Cloud Pack, and this is linked up, integrated with the My Cloud Pack here. And My Cloud Pack, one of the things that you can do with it is you can upload files like PowerPoint or any kind of file directly onto here, save it, store it, and you can later, when you connect with a Brainfuse tutor, you can go here, access the same documents like a PowerPoint or a PDF, and upload it directly onto the whiteboard. And it's a kind of an online locker as well. You can organize it. So let's say you want to create different folders. I'm going to call it like chemistry. So you want to have a chemistry folder for your chemistry lessons. And you can also add documents by clicking here. And then you can save the folder. So this is for uploading file. You can also add a link or create documents and add it. All right, so this is free write, eraser, the ABCs for typing, obviously. And this is for font, changing colors. This is one of my favorite features. And the reason for it is, I'm just going to delete this lesson here. And there's no limit as to how much stuff that you can put on the whiteboard in case you were thinking that this is a small whiteboard. It's actually not a small whiteboard because there's no limitation on how much stuff you can put on it. It automatically expands in both directions. Let's say that I have a question from one of the tests that I took. So let's say it's a compass test. Okay, so I'm just going to skip to the end. Or actually, let's say that I'm in the middle of taking this practice test. I actually didn't want a reading one. So let me get a. All right, so let's say I don't really understand how to do this question. I forgot what arithmetic mean means. Then, yeah, I can just try copying it like that. But I recommend the best way to do it. Any kind of screen capturing tool is fine. And just go to the whiteboard, put your cursor on it, and click paste, and there you are. And you can just write on it, do whatever you need to do with it. And of course, as mentioned before, anything you do on this whiteboard, including this kind of test prep, is found in past sessions. So this is copy and paste text and images. This is graphing tool. And if you need to change the number settings, just right-click on it. And directions for using the whiteboard is found in the student guide booklet. Just right-click on it, double-click on it, and you can choose different modes like fraction, pi. And this is the graphing paper. And again, if you need to change the number settings, just double-click. And you can change the modes to fraction, pi, whatever you need. And, of course, what good is a graph paper? You can't write on it. And you can write on it, type on it, whatever you need to do. These are the common symbols and shapes. And even though we do have symbols here, it's more extensive list here. These are probably one of my favorite features as well because it's very flexible as to where you can put it. You can also change the color if you wanted to. And this is undo. It undoes the very last thing you did on the whiteboard. These are the math and science symbols that we put in. And if you don't see something, let us know. We'll be more than happy to add it. And these are the science symbols, super and subscript, delete button. Audio is not something that we use with our tutors. But as I mentioned earlier during the webinar, audio is definitely an option, whether it be through Meet, or if you ever decide that you're going to have a larger online, more structured online tutoring program for your people, then audio is available. But it is not used with our tutors. And the main reason for us is because of security reasons. All of our sessions are monitored live, almost all of them, and we have live monitors who are reading the sessions as they occur. And it's not possible to listen to hundreds of sessions going on. Plus, if there's ever a complaint from a student, it's very difficult for us to find out what happened unless there is a written record. So we don't use audio with our tutors. We made very few exceptions in the past, only when it's a young student, like a 8th grader, for instance, and they don't speak any English. Then it would be more of a pre-scheduled session. Okay, so that is the student whiteboard in a nutshell. Any questions about this whiteboard? Okay, so I take that as a no. If you think of a question later, please feel free to email me. My email address is elise@brainfuse.com. And as we mentioned in the student guide booklet, if a student is having technical issues or any kind of issue, then they should be contacting Brainfuse directly, and they can find the contact information in the guide booklet. All right, so I'm going to log out of the student whiteboard. And they also get this survey at the end. All right, so that is the student whiteboard. And I'm going to skip now to the Collaborate tab and go into the Meet whiteboard so you can see the difference between the Meet whiteboard and the regular student whiteboard. If you're wondering what this is, our tutors get end-of-session reports. So if they just had a session with a student, they want to add some comments for the future tutor to have access to, they can do that, but it's optional. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, Meet is something that can be used by both students and tutors, faculty tutors, or even faculty like professors. For students, they can, and I've seen students do this where they hold online study group sessions, or maybe they have something they want to explain to their friend and they need a whiteboard and they don't feel like meeting. Then they can use our Meet whiteboard to do that. And again, audio is available. And the way to schedule sessions is either you can just go straight to my calendar, or you can just click on Meet. And you can put in as many email addresses as you like. I'm just going to invite myself. I'll just quickly describe the meeting. I'm just going to put demo on it. Send the invitation. And I'm automatically now on my calendar page. And from here, I can either enter the Meet whiteboard or edit. Maybe I want to add more people, invite more people, or maybe I need to change the time, or maybe delete the whole thing, whatever you need to do. All right, so I'm going to enter the session. By the way, if a student ever decides they're going to have a pre-scheduled session, they would also find those pre-scheduled sessions in my calendar. All right, so this is the Meet whiteboard, and as you can see, audio lights up because it's available. I'm going to also log in as the person who got invited because that's really the only way I can show you the unique features. So let me just go into Yahoo Mail here. All right, so you see how I got this invitation from Getting Health 7. And the beauty of Meet is you don't have to be a member of Brainfuse to get the invitation. It could be anybody. So if a student wants to invite their professor, they can do that too. So I just click on the link. Enter session. And the person who gets invited, their whiteboard is essentially the student whiteboard. There we go. All right. Now, you see how the system has automatically created a username for me, the person who got invited, 152552. Well, let's say you invite a whole bunch of people, and it can be difficult remembering who's who. If that's the case, just you can put in the demo notes section to just ask them to put in their first and last name here, sign up, and then whatever name, ideally whatever is their real name, will show up. And so instead of a number like this, you can actually see the person's name. Okay, so this is the whiteboard that the person who got invited, the attendees whiteboard, and again, audio is available. It's simpler. This is the whiteboard for the person who got invited. As you can tell, this is exactly the same as the student whiteboard. This is the Meet whiteboard. And the main difference right away is there are a lot more buttons here. That's true. And there are other unique features with the organizer's whiteboard. Best part is, one of the best features is even though the Meet whiteboard is different and separate from the student whiteboard, so Getting Health 7, when I connect with an actual real tutor, I get the student whiteboard, like the one that the attendee is using. And then I can access whatever I saved onto CloudPack and upload onto the whiteboard. Same thing with the message center that's here. And with Meet, it's also true. It carries over. So whatever you did on your regular whiteboard, so as Getting Health 7, this student, Getting Health 7, whatever they did, whether saving things onto CloudPack or their message center, they can still access those files on the Meet whiteboard, even though this is a different whiteboard. Also, there is audio, which is one of the main differences, and you do have to press to talk. And the reason for that is because if we just make audio open-ended, then whatever background noise there is, you're going to hear it all. So if you want to talk, you do need to press on it. And the other unique features about the Meet Whiteboard is, unlike the regular student whiteboard, the Meet Whiteboard is designed to accommodate a group. It's not a one-to-one box. So let's say I invited 10 people, and it can get very messy having 10 people use the same whiteboard. So then what you want to do is right-click. It could be anyone's username, and you have all these private, public features. So I can enable private whiteboard just for this person, or enable private whiteboard for everybody, so everybody gets their own whiteboard, so that they're not writing over each other. Also, the default setting is for the chat is private. So whatever, let's say I say hello on the chat because I don't feel like using audio. Then you see how it shows up on my side. The person who invited the other person shows up as private. But let's say that I want everybody to see what this other person is saying. Then I can disable private chat. And this, you can also do it through here. You see how it got crossed off. This is for disabling private chat. This is for, as an organizer, I can also disable whiteboard privilege, chat privilege, audio privilege. So if somebody all of a sudden behaves inappropriately, then I can deactivate them, disable their access to audio, for instance, or even the whiteboard. I also have the option to release the person who got invited if they continue to behave inappropriately. You can also do desktop sharing through here. So if there's a very complex Excel sheet and the only way to really understand what the other person is saying is desktop sharing, you can do that. Again, Transfer Student is for those programs, for those institutions that have a larger, they decided to have their own online tutoring program alongside Brainfuse tutors, where they can transfer students to other faculty tutors. Whois is going to give you any information about the student. So if this student, for instance, if they're actually also Brainfuse members and they took a Compass test, then if you click here, you'll be able to see the test information. Sending quizzes is, let's say the student, again, this is assuming that this person is a member of Brainfuse and has been using Brainfuse. But if not, then obviously sending quizzes does not apply. But sending quizzes is if the student has chosen a quiz but has not taken it, then as the organizer, I can send it over, have it pop open on the other side so that the student can take the quiz while being online with me. All right, so we have these private public. So then let me enable a private whiteboard here. So you see how there's a separate tab. And then I'm going to be, so I just have got my own private whiteboard. So then whatever I do here, it does not show up on the public whiteboard. However, as the organizer, whatever I put on my whiteboard, so I just pasted again that question, will show up on everybody's whiteboard because I'm the organizer. Okay. So those are some of the unique features, highlights of the Meet Whiteboard. Otherwise, all of the whiteboard functions work exactly the same. Also, I should add that even though you're not using our tutors, any kind of live session, doesn't matter whether you're using our tutors or your tutors or your faculty decided, oh, I'm going to have a Meet session with one of my students. Whatever you do with us in terms of live setting using our whiteboard, it's saved and stored in past sessions. So this is a session that I was just in. And so even though you're not using our tutors in this Meet session, it's still going to be saved and archived here so that you can share it with other people or replay it. All right. The other feature that's available, and I like to call the Meet and Brainwave, one of the two of the features, one of many, that are available for students who prefer to work at first by themselves, who would like to work alone. So they're not using our tutors, but they're just using our content, tests, and maybe meeting with their professor, or there may be friends who know a question better than they do, or a topic. And Brainwave is another feature that's for students who like to do it alone, kind of. So Brainwave, for instance, the difference between Brainwave and Meet is it's not live. So it's a whiteboard. You do get a whiteboard, and you can record something on the whiteboard, and you can send it to others, and it shows up as a link in their email inbox, but it's not live. So so let's say, let me give you an example. So if I'm asked a question from a fellow student, or maybe I have a question for my professor, and I need to demonstrate on the whiteboard, show on the whiteboard what I'm asking. So then I would create a Brainwave and begin recording. I get this whiteboard, and then I would show on the whiteboard, draw on the whiteboard what my question is, or I can also type on the chat. And then after I'm done, I can put in the email address of the person that I want to send it to, and they get it, they receive it as a link. They just click on it, and this whiteboard pops open, and they see the question that you're asking. And the feature is not mutually exclusive, so you may want to combine the two. So let's say you send the question through Brainwave, but after doing that, you also want to have a live session with the person that you asked the question to. Or you may be the student may be the one explaining something to their friends. So that's Brainwave. Okay. Alrighty. I believe I covered everything, the essential features. Let me know if you have any questions.
Can you go over Flashbulb in the study area? I don't know if you talked about Flashbulb.
Right. Flashbulb is it's a fun idea, but it can also be very educational. And I can definitely see faculty using this as well. But it's not just about flashcards, but you also have the option to create quizzes through here. And you do have to, if you have a Facebook username, then you probably want to use that. But you do, in order to create something, then you do need to sign up separately with Flashbulb. Or if you have a Facebook account, then you can use that one. But the way it works, let me see here. I just clicked on chemistry. All right, so let me just click on one of these. So you have these options. You get flashcards. You can create a matching or a quiz or a test. All these options that are available. So it can be a fun tool, and students can do it, or even faculty for their students. And it can be quite an educational tool if you so decide to use it. There are also resources found here, and the stamp mark means that it's been vetted. Otherwise, it's open access for those students who want to create content for themselves. You can also do a search. Okay. Anything else?
Did you talk about the resources tab here under study that the institution?
Oh, right. So again, this is a button that for your account we're going to disable unless you want to keep it. This is essentially where if you have resources that you like your students to access and see, then we can put it here, publish it for you. It's a dynamic page. And same thing with the career in the Adult Learning Center. You see how there's career resources? This page is also dynamic. So right now we make available the generic sites, but if you have job resources that are specific to your college and you like your students to see it also here, then we can publish it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, anything else?
I don't know if I've talked to you about it, but restrictions when it comes to submissions.
Yeah.
What type of submissions, what type of restrictions are available? Such as like Writing Lab or 24/7 Center, to kind of keep students from maybe submitting a paper 5 times to get it checked, or submitting the same question 3, 4 times to get an answer? Because these types of items that they can use would assess charges to the institution.
Right. Right. That's an excellent question. And based on our experience working with other colleges and institutions, if we initially recommend that we should just keep it open because it's not necessarily so that students would use it, and we don't want to unnecessarily put in caps for students because there may be some students who may need to resubmit something 5 times. That said, for those institutions who are concerned that some students may overuse it or abuse the privilege of using the writing lab by just keep resubmitting and resubmitting, then I've seen institutions ask us to put in caps such as maybe no more than 5 submissions per student per month, or it could be 4, or it's really up to the institutions how many submissions that they want to allow per student per month.
Okay.
Yeah. And same thing is true for live help. So if you're concerned about some students just using Brainfuse too heavily, it's more like a crutch than help that they need when they're really stuck, then you can also put in max cap per student per month.
And we do have some faculty on the line, so if you can kind of talk about the different subjects that the live help is going to be available for.
Right. Right now for, okay, so what you see is that these are the standard subjects. So under business, you'll see accounting, econ, introductory finance, computers and technology. These are the subjects that we offer right now. I know that one of the institutions that we work with, they actually asked about programming languages, and for them we were providing that as well. But the standard subjects for computers and technology, these are the subjects that you're getting. And for English, college reading, and it's reading and writing. Math, these are the subjects, the basic math, calculus, college, geometry, pre-algebra, pre-calculus, stats, and trigonometry. We'll also be releasing for you multivariable calculus and also liberal arts math, so they'll be added. And for science, these are the subjects that are offered: anatomy, physiology, biology, chemistry, and physics. And if there's a subject that you're not sure whether we offer and you don't see it here, let me know. I'll be more than happy to find out for you. And at this point, let me also try unmuting everybody in case I missed a question. Because I keep asking whether anybody has any questions, and except for Amber, everybody else is muted. So everybody's unmuted now. So if you have any questions I still have not answered, please ask away. And if you don't have any questions at this time, that's fine. You can always email me later, or we can do a one-to-one webinar. That's fine, too. We're very open with doing webinars with faculty. And I usually spend some time talking about what the institution's plans may be in making students aware of the program. But it looks like you, especially Amber, is on top of things, so I don't know whether it's necessary for me to talk about it. But one of the institutions that we work with actually told me not to send any paper flyers because they don't do paper flyers. But let me know whatever we can do to promote the service. I know that our marketing people, Johnny, for instance, he's very eager to go out there and meet with you all. So that's one way to promote the service. But any ideas you have, and we're more than happy to do as many webinars as necessary, send you flyers, etc. So let me know.
I have a question, and again, I'm looking back in the RFP book that I have, which these courses I didn't see on there, and I'm just trying to figure out, do you offer the tutoring? Maybe it's going to be available in fall, but under here it's listed with nursing, things like the social sciences, the humanities, which were not under the subject list. So is this something that's going to be available in fall, or do we have to ask you to add this service?
With social sciences and humanities, I'm going to have to check with the marketing people because they put together the RFP. But with nursing, I know that we can make available to you right now if you wanted us to. There are select subjects in nursing that we're making available for the summer. We can release it for you. So if you have interest in it, let me know.
Well, we have a nursing program, so we'd definitely like to have opportunities available for those students as well.
Okay, so I'm going to release the nursing subjects for you. And then let me just jot down notes and make sure that I follow up with the social sciences and humanities. Okay, and then release for nursing.
It's listed on here. It has accounting econ separately, but it also has business courses. Now, is business courses some different courses that fall under there, or is it just the accounting and economics?
I believe for the standard subject for the business courses, it is accounting, econ, and introductory finance.
And finance, okay.
And I believe the reason why the people who wrote the RFP from our company made it rather open-ended is because every college is different. So even though these are the standard subjects, because this is what our competitors do, if there are any specific subjects within business that you like us to find tutors for, let us know.
Okay. And one other question, ESL, was anything available for ESL?
Oh yes, I mean all of our subjects, it's open to ESL students. So what I mean by that is, so let's say it's an English paper, and the students submitted the paper through our writing lab, but they don't really understand English very well. Then they can always log in with a live tutor, tell the tutor, and our tutor will be more than happy to go over the ESL issues that are specific to ESL students.
Okay.
All right, so if there are no other questions, I did end up taking an hour. Usually I try to keep it within 30, 40 minutes. So unless there are any other questions, we're actually done for today. Amber, anything else you want to ask me or mention?
Not at this time. We're still working with our IT, and they're working with Sam to do the building block to get the Brainfuse uploaded to where students would have the single sign-on going through Blackboard. So if faculty is wondering when would the service be available, right now we're still working on it. We are going to have some additional webinars and hopefully a campus visit from a live representative at Brainfuse. And we're also going to get some posters and flyers up so we can try and get the word spread around to students just as soon as the service is available.
Right.
I thank you
Yeah.
for doing the webinar.
Yeah, and I also want to mention, Amber, that before I print anything by a printer, I'll make sure that the flyer and poster has your approval first.
Okay, that would be good.
All righty. All right, have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you so much.
And you do the same. Thank you.
Thank you.